Welcome back to Space Engineers Survival. This is episode 67. Um, I did a little bit of work on refactoring the autopilot, but nowhere near enough. But that is not what we're going to work on today. I'll review that later after I've done some more work on it as well. Right now we are just flying back here, and we'll do something else. No, I'm wrong. What we're going to do is we are going to head out to the ice station. And we are going to head out faster than that. No, I want to do the ice station rendezvous. So the idea is today we are going to steal the code off of the ice station, bring it back for use on the uranium station, and turn up the antenna radius on the ice station, grab whatever ice is there, come back, and if we have time, which hopefully we will set up the ice station script to run on the uranium station, and it shouldn't take, hopefully, much changes to get that working. So guys, I got my first dislike. I got a thumbs down on one of my videos from, I guess it'll be 2 days ago now. The video where my daughter was talking over the last half of it, and it was an hour and a half late getting posted, and it was kind of hodgepodge and cut short, and it was just us doing the disable and counting the engines. I understand that. I apologize for the quality of that video. It wasn't particularly good. My daughter did not want to go to bed, so I was trying to record with her in my lap as opposed to in bed like I usually do when she's here. Um, and yeah, we didn't really get a whole lot done either. I deserve it. I'm not mad, but hopefully the rest of the videos will be better from here on out. I will not repeat that mistake again. Try to be a little bit more diligent about staying ahead on recording and being able to do it all at a leisurely pace without needing to rush and get something half-assed out late. But we actually ended up setting 3 waypoints, the lag, um, for the ice station. The idea being that, you know, if we were going to use the autopilot on the remote control, we would be able to follow those. Um, one of them is the rendezvous, which is the one that is clear of the asteroid between the ice station and the space industrial complex. So if we head for that one, we will not have any collision issues. Not that we have collision issues anyway with the 1,000 meter um, buffer that we have set up on our autopilot fly to command. That is still working despite my refactoring, which is good, even though I didn't really change much that was involved in that. I mostly kind of cleaned up some of the code involved in loading from storage and updating the autopilot, you know, finding all the various bits and pieces, and I got interrupted partway through doing that part of it. So I will continue doing that off camera, and we'll review the changes in the next scripting episode, as well as probably start getting into some of the raycasting stuff with the camera. So I'll try to at least start doing some of that off screen just because I don't really know how to do that at this point. So it'll be a learning process, and I end up making much worse episodes when I'm doing that learning process on screen. So I'll at least get some stuff written for that so that we can use that. The main point of that for the autopilot is going to be for collision avoidance. so that, if we are flying towards something and there happens to be an asteroid or, maybe even a planet in the way, like if we set up a waypoint on the other side of the Earth-like planet here, we'll be able to go around it. But I don't know how feasible that will be, particularly with a planet being the concern. But if it's just an asteroid, hopefully that'll be something that we can make work. I would also like to use that kind of functionality to do detection, to detect an asteroid and explore automatically. That will probably not be done on this ship because it doesn't have a very good ore detector on it. We'll want to build a large grid ore scout. Um, so part of the challenge there is also going to be identifying which um, asteroids we visited already and which ones we haven't. And the idea will be that we'll save a GPS marker towards it that will get transmitted back to the SIC that we can then use to fly out to it, and it'll send an alert out saying, hey, I'm here, so that we can pay attention to it and access the ore detector and take a look around and see if there's anything worth going back to. Because something else that I would eventually like to add into this autopilot is kind of a path following thing, so that we can basically leave bookmarks and follow the path. So that, if we did need to fly into a cave, like the uranium cave, even though that's now being built so that it feeds outside of the asteroid, if we did need to fly into somewhere and kind of navigate through some tight passages, we'd be able to do that just by kind of dropping breadcrumbs along the way. Kind of like we're doing here, but, automatically. Because here we are stopping a kilometer short, more or less, of the rendezvous point. And I'm not sure that that is quite adequate to get us around this asteroid and get to the ice station. Looks like it's not. About a kilometer out anyway. We also want to implement a menu so that we can do all this without needing to have it all on the hotbar. We can select from the various waypoints that are in storage and engage the autopilot to fly to those automatically. There it is. So now if I do 7, that will fly us to the ice station. It'll actually not fly us to the ice station because we are already inside the radius. That's something else that I wanted to implement on here, was the ability to orient and limit the thrust so that we're going straight towards where we're pointed. Shouldn't be too difficult. It's basically being done already in the Fly 2 stuff. So I might want to isolate that functionality so that I can use it for something else. But the more stuff the autopilot can do on its own, the less attention we have to pay to stuff like this, and we can spend our time doing other things while this is all happening by itself. Realistically, I could be operating the uranium station manually right now from this distance because it's close enough that the cargo shuttle's antenna can reach it, even if the ice station can't right now the way it's set up. lag. So that is still spinning. Anything is on. It should on. Means the pause. And now we're going to lag while I load the camera view. Turn on the connector. And knock it on. Alright, let's see what we got here. Just dumped a bunch of stone into our ship. This is full. This is full. The drills are not full. That's full. That's the shuttle. So it was working on filling up the drills, I guess. Because I don't think we have enough cargo space in here to account for both drills. In any case, it looks like we're just getting stone here, not ice. Anyway, I don't remember how this is written. I don't think we have any commands implemented. It's pretty full. Yeah, we don't have any commands written here. This is not the best code. We'll want to do some updates to this. But this is not a scripting episode. So what I'm going to do is this must have been paused if this is still at vertical 4. Yeah, it just paused again. Because it got over 95%, that's where it pauses. Excuse me. Alright, so what I'm going to do to deal with this, I'm going to turn off the conveyor system on the drills so that we can find these drills here, which is the only thing that has any space in it. And we're going to stick this stone back in, and we're going to pull the ice out. Because the ice is more useful. Is it though? Is it really? Shuttle, 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 shuttle. Alright, well we got all of the ice now. So I guess we can, no, we're using our personal inventory, so I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave the stone. But I will turn the, that's the shuttle. Did this on pause? No, it didn't. Okay, that's good. I don't want it to unpause. Turn these back on. The conveyors. Sorry, I'm getting Facebook messages. Okay, so I am going to steal this code. Just Control A, Control C. And I don't have an antenna on this, do I? It looks like I don't. I didn't bring parts for one. And I didn't bring the Mega Miner either, so I can't make them. Well, that was silly of me. I made a mistake. Huh. So how do I want to handle this? I guess I want to just disconnect and fly back and dump what we have. I mean, we did get all of the ice off the station here. And now we've just got a bunch of stone sitting here. The rendezvous points out here. What's that called? Ice station dash RDV. RDV. Yeah, RDV. I really need that menu. SIC still on the other side of the asteroid. Alright, I think we're clear, so we'll go ahead and submit this command. So now our orientation is locked, and our thrusters are going. They're getting rid of our Y velocity and reversing our Z velocity. I thought I had an antenna on here for some reason. I was wrong. Oh wow, look at that stopping distance. Because our mass went up so much with all the ice we got on board. That's almost a 2.5 kilometer stopping distance to end up one click away. That's at full throttle. Like accelerating very slowly here because we're only using 10%. Yeah, this is going to take a while. What useful things can we do in the meantime? Well, we can remote access the uranium station. Like I said, we are going to go ahead and install code on this so that it'll all happen automatically. But for the time being, while we're waiting, we can do some manual work. Not much though, because this is pretty full. Radial pistons are fully extended. We can retract those. And then we've got 3 of these, but we're only using 1 of them, and it looks like it is this one. So once these are fully retracted, this will go out another meter. Could probably do that faster. But yeah, I'm a little bit worried that we'll overfill our inventory if we actually engage this here. Because I don't remember how much this will really get in one layer. Well, we've got 2 drills and a connector that we haven't even really touched. Should probably take the mega miner over to pick all this up. Possibly build another large grid cargo shuttle so we can handle a little bit more cargo at once. Because what we've got is the functional equivalent of a large grid small cargo container. Okay, so those are all the way back. Now we'll put this one down to 3 meters. And it will extend out slowly because it is drilling along the way. Drilling from the side at that. I'm glad that that worked, adjusting the stopping distance for the mass. I hadn't really tested that. This was always empty when I was testing it before. How's this battery doing? Fully depleted in 3 days. It's because I'm not getting any sunlight. Makes sense. But it is almost full, actually. So it has been charging. Alright, that's all the way down now. So we'll go back to our radial pistons and set these to go out again at 0.02. And we'll just keep an eye on the inventory here. Because if this overfills, we'll want to stop. What will we stop? The drills and the radial pistons. So I'm going to group those together for now. So I can just come in and stop it all at once by just turning those off. that stays selected, so I can just go in and hit off. But we still have a connector and 2 drills to fill up, so I think we'll be okay. But again, the whole idea here is that we'll use a script to do this, so we don't have to worry about it. If it's full, it'll just stop itself automatically. And, you know, the main thing being that it'll operate the pistons and everything so that it shaves the layers off by itself. Looks like it's going pretty slow. So the advantage of only going down a meter at a time is that we're not using the full block height of those drills, so it does go a little bit slower. And we are shooting for 70 here. We're only at 50. Yeah, this is taking a little while to get up to speed. We're already over halfway there. We're not even up to speed yet. By the time we get up to speed, we're going to be slowing down. Hopefully we actually will get up to speed, otherwise we're going to stop short. Yeah, I think it's safe to say we need another reactor on here. Possibly even 2. We've got plenty of uranium at this point. I'm not really worried about that. And we need to have the thrust overrides for the fly-to command scale based on the difference in current velocity versus target velocity. So that it applies more thrust when there's a bigger gap. It should actually start slowing us down pretty soon here. We're not even up to speed. I need to make that stopping distance dependent on how fast we're actually going to instead of how fast we're trying to go. Because yeah, we're going to stop short here because we weren't up to full speed and it's stopping us as if we were. It is still caring about our lateral velocity, so that's good. Although that's causing our power to overload even more. Because when I figured it yesterday, it was based on the 4 main thrusters forward and backward, not including the lateral ones. Alright, yeah, we stopped almost a kilometer short of where we were targeting. And axe like here. We didn't even have a single steel plate that we could place that antenna and bring back the welder to do it. Not that the welder has the autopilot on it, so I'd be a little bit nervous about just leaving it to run. There's our programming block for the uranium station. There's our antenna for the ice station. We're still over a click out. Man, that antenna is just burning power. Turn it off and it goes from 21% to 1%. Orient SIC was... Lock SIC was 4. Now we don't actually park this on the SIC bookmark. That's going to be another future feature of the autopilot, is to be able to, and that's going to be one that requires receivers on the other end, is to send out a query and say, hey, I want to dock with you. Do you have an open connector? And it'll find an open connector, send back the coordinates for it, and then we'll automatically fly to it, somewhat offset so that it's far enough out for the connector to get lined up properly instead of just, crashing into it. And then it will orient our docking connector on our ship and dock up. That's kind of the long-term goal here. And then the inventory management on the SIC will include sending cargo shuttles out to mining stations to pick up additional ore when we need it. I think that'll be pretty cool. So the idea being, the SIC will say, hey, I'm running low on this. It'll send out a broadcast saying, hey, does anybody have a bunch of this? Like, if we need more ice, the ice station will reply back, yeah, I got a bunch of this. And it'll be like, all right, I'm sending a cargo shuttle to pick that up. Cargo shuttle will say, hey, I want to come pick that up. The ice station will say, okay, well, here's my connector. Cargo shuttle will be like, all right, cool, I'll fly out there. And then it'll dock up, pick everything up. And then it'll say, hey, SIC, I want to come back and dock up with you. SIC will say, all right, here's my docking connector. All right, we can disable the autopilot now. Work on bleeding off our very high velocity, or, well, not very high velocity, but very much weight, very low acceleration. And we are going to need more storage on here before too long. Ice storage, or hydrogen storage rather, would probably be the best way to use our resources and actually start refining some of this ice instead of just holding a bunch of ice. Because we got a full large cargo container at that of just ice, and we just went and picked up more. We really didn't need to do that. But really the main idea was to get out there and increase the range of the non-existent antenna. So, shut everything down. Pop out here. That's nice. Whatever. It looks like all the lagging. Overfill. Serious? Wake up. There it is. Colonizer we want to leave alone. That we want to leave alone. That we want to leave alone. All those we want to leave alone. That we want to leave alone. That we want to leave alone. Not sure if we want to leave that alone or not. The shuttle's the one we're worried about. I guess we can keep all that ice in the fighter. Really, we're mostly worried about unloading the shuttle. We can deal with the ice in the fighter if we want to later. But that's in there to refuel the fighter if we need to use hydrogen for improved performance. So I'm fine with that. Alright, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to switch back to personal inventory. I'm going to make sure that a programming block is on our hotbar, as well as put it in the build planner. I'm going to do it manually rather than using the welder. As soon as you're done lagging, you can clear a lot of this stuff off, I think. You can clear that off anyway. I think I want to keep that on there for the time being, just in case we need to do any rebuilds on the Uranium Station. Keep that there because I know I'm going to use it in a minute. Programmable block, where are you? There. That can come off, I think. And move that onto here. Alright, so now that that's on there, if I middle click that, it'll grab everything that we need to build it. And then we can go down to the Uranium Station. check and make sure this hasn't overfilled itself. It has not. It hasn't even quite filled up that large cargo container. It looks like it's about to, and then it'll start spilling into the connector, which is fine. But the purpose of the exercise here, I'm going to put it on this side because it's closer to where we'll be coming at it from. Stick our programmable block down. Weld it up. Build planner provided us with all the parts, as it should. Edit this, select all, and paste. So that's just pasting everything that we had. Now, we need to go through here and make sure that we're not trying to grab anything that doesn't exist. So that's getting drills, that's fine. It's getting the cargo container, that's fine. Radial pistons. And those will be on a different cube grid, but the same construct. Okay, that's fine. And this one is elevation pistons, but we actually have 3 of these. Oh, and this is going to end up getting some of those elevation pistons too, because we have 3, and we're only counting on 1, and only the first one is actually going to be on the same cube grid. So this is going to be a problem. Huh. Alright, well here's one way we can handle that. Oh, this is turning into a scripting episode. I'm trying not to do that. Alright, you know what? Compilation successful. This is a problem here. And the way that we're going to handle it is I'm basically going to grab these first. This is just going to get us the one that is on the same cube grid. We're going to match the orientation. And anything that's oriented the same way is an elevation piston. Everything that's not oriented the same way is a radial piston. Rotor's fine. Panel's fine. Drill extending status is fine. Display is fine. Connected is fine. Save is fine. This needs to be changed. Since we have more elevation pistons than just the one. That's fine. This is radial pistons. It's elevation pistons, so that's an issue. That's elevation pistons, so that's an issue. I mean, this is the main thing that we're worried about, honestly. So I'm going to get rid of all that so it does the pausing. So it won't update the drills at all, but it will pause it if it's overfilled. Except the radial pistons are an issue. No, they're not. It's just going to turn off more pistons than it needs to. And that's fine. We'll deal with that. I think I can live with that. And that's just something that's assigned but never used. That's fine. Alright, so it's not going to adjust the drills here. It doesn't do that part automatically. Still have to do that manually for now. And that can go a little faster, it'll be okay. But it will pause everything when this gets to be 95% full. And that's the more important thing, because that's wasting ore if it gets overfilled and it's just drilling stuff away and not actually storing it. So our main problem with the script is that it's not scalable for elevation pistons that are, more than one. That will have to be dealt with. Alright, that's retracted. Now we will extend this one by another meter. And we do still have some cargo space to do that. I could try to remote control the mega miner down here, but it would be difficult to get docked up. Well, I couldn't dock it up standing here because I can't see the docking port. And the docking port camera, quote unquote, is really just the industrial cockpit right in front of the connector. So if we want to move the mega miner over here to pick all this cargo up, we'll need to actually go back and fly it over. And if I'm going to do that, I will want to scoop up the antenna components. Alright, that's a 4. So now radial pistons again. 2.02. Go. Alright, that's doing its thing. Lag. In your own time. I'll be here waiting. I will probably work on that Uranium Station script off camera, but I will at least post the update to GitHub, so keep an eye out for that. And I'll do at least a quick code review of it in the next scripting episode. But like I said, I do want to focus on getting the camera scripting working for obstacle detection on the autopilot. Yeah, I do want the batteries on because the thrusters can't quite cope on one reactor, if I remember correctly, for this ship. Uranium station's over here, where we want to go. Let's just Okay. I need to properly label this stuff. Mega minor large cargo container. All the uranium, all the stone. Basic refinery, I don't think can handle uranium, so I don't think this is going to work. But if you will stop lagging, yeah, we'll test it. Come on. You're killing me here. Yeah, that doesn't work. Okay. But we do have a small cargo container, so that can take some stuff. Oh my god, the lag. Why? Just do what you're told. This is not hard. Alright, so that's most of everything cleared out. We can take this back now. And I think we're starting to run a little long, especially for what we're actually doing and accomplishing here. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this here. I will fly back and put an antenna on the ice station. I'll do that off camera because that was supposed to be done this time, but I thought that I had done it already, and it turns out I hadn't. So we'll just load up the components onto the cargo shuttle and go do that. And I will adjust the script on the Uranium Station so that it does what it's supposed to do, and we'll code review that in the next scripting episode. As far as the next episode immediately after this one, I guess we'll make some improvements to the cargo shuttle, namely the additional reactors. What else can we do? Oh, put some hydrogen tanks on the space industrial complex so we can deal with all the ice that we've got. So that's the tentative plan for next episode. Subscribe to see all that happen. Likes, comments, or reviews are welcome. Hopefully this is a better episode than the one that somebody disliked. Like I said, it's my first one, so I feel a little bit special even though it's a negative feedback. But yeah, thanks again for watching. See you next time. Bye.